say is the downside of condos is HOAs. It's a board of people and directors who have a say so in your property, but you just have to do your work. Like you have to see how the HOAs are. You have to be understanding of like what their rules and regulations are, and you just got to be comfortable with it. Our number one rule is we never buy a condo in the same HOA. Like we diversify our HOAs. We don't ever want to get stuck where we got 3 condos in one HOA and there was some corruption that happened on the HOA board with the money and the whole thing goes bankrupt. It's like we make sure to diversify in every HOA.
You chose condos in particular. There's all sorts of different types of rental properties, condos, single family houses, duplexes. Was there anything that drew you to the condos in particular?
No, I mean, it's just, we got the 7 condos now, and I keep telling myself, it's like, we got to branch out and get single family homes or branch out and get multifamily. But really it's all about what's the great deal, and in this area, people love condos. They love their landscaping being taken care of in a community feel without being on top of each other in multifamily. Like condos here, we buy them and they're ready to rent and they're profitable day one. So, I mean, it's just the market really dictated how our investment was. I have a desire to do other things with multifamily and single family, but it's like, you got to read your market. Yeah. It keeps taking us right to these condos that are instantly profitable. And what people say is the downside of condos is HOAs. It's a board of people and directors who have a say so in your property, but you just have to do your work. Like you have to see how the HOAs are. You have to be understanding of like what their rules and regulations are, and you just got to be comfortable with it.
I like it. Yeah, there's so many niches out there that work, and condos, you've made it work. I love how you followed the market. There's in my market, I'm in a smaller college town, and I moved into a fourplex because there were some old fourplexes that were built in the 70s and 80s, and that's just what my market gave me. You found condos, they've cash flowed, they've done well, and you've gone all in on them. I mean, that's because you've studied them and you know them, and there's plenty of room to pivot and change later on. You can always sell your properties and do something different. But I like how you found something that works. And talk to me about the financing. So you found a location, you're in Knoxville, you're investing locally. Yeah. Particularly on your first deals, how did you come up with the money to do that? Both the down payment and then also just the financing?
Yeah. I mean, I consider us really good savers. That's something that I feel like as a couple, we were always in line on. So, I mean, we just save, and then would buy a condo. So we save up to 20%, make sure we have a little bit of reserves set aside just in case. And then we would do a traditional 30-year fixed loan. And that was for the first 3. Now, after summer of 2019, where I heard all the other different things you can do, that's when we started to get a little bit more creative. That's when we did a HELOC against our primary, which is a home equity line of credit, which I love. Do you want me to talk about that?
Yeah, go for it. Yep.
Yeah. So HELOC is a home equity line of credit. And at that time, I was like, all right, we need to grow our business faster. We need to buy condos faster, and I looked into the idea of bringing on an investor. But it's just the idea of bringing on an investor for condos just doesn't work. There's not a big enough piece of the pie to divvy up, so we then discovered we can do a HELOC against our primary home, which I love. It's almost like your house is your investor. Like our house is the investor allowing us to have this line of credit. And so we were able to get a $55,000 line of credit that we can go to whenever we need it. And so we used that to buy one of our properties, and then our property and our tenants pay that line of credit back. So it really doesn't even affect us. We were able to get a property through this HELOC, and then our tenants paid it back.
Cool. What kind of price range are these condos have they been for you? Like what did you pay for them? And then what are the rents typically on these?
Yeah, I mean, we've been anywhere from $115,000 to $200,000. And, they're 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, various areas. Well, our number one rule is we never buy a condo in the same HOA. Like we diversify our HOAs. We don't ever want to get stuck where we got 3 condos in one HOA and there was some corruption that happened on the HOA board with the money and the whole thing goes bankrupt. It's like we make sure to diversify in every HOA.
Smart. And then so 115 to 200,000, and these are probably, when we talk about the A, B, C kind of classifications for properties, A being like the primo, best locations, most expensive or newest condos, and C minus being kind of more blue collar. Where would these fall into that range in your town?
We consider them B. I mean, another rule we have is, we only invest in properties that we would want to live in, like our single selves would want to live in. I think that's important. The nicer property you get, I feel like, knock on wood, that the greater tenant you get, or the happier tenant you have. It's HGTV right now is in everyone's home, and they're all seeing the granite countertops and the backsplashes. It's like there's a lot of pride of ownership going on, especially right now where everyone's home. So we're very lucky that we have these B-class properties that are really nice and they don't need a lot of maintenance. Even with the 6 properties we have now, about to be 7, we still only average like 2-3 emails a week. And they're super simple stuff because the properties are in really good condition by the time we buy them.
And y'all self-manage that as well? Do you find the tenants yourself? And if there is a call about something, you take that yourself?
Yeah. I mean, we have a great handyman. We got a great plumber. One thing that we were doing before that was not right was, like, anytime there was an issue, we would involve ourselves in it and try to schedule it between the handyman and the tenant. And then, well, they can do it Tuesday, but not at that time. And it's like, it just created more work for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So we make sure with our handyman, it's like, when there's an issue, I'm just going to give them your number. And then you guys work it out in the schedule. And when you get to the property, assess the situation, and then shoot me a text on what it's going to cost. And we'll say yes or no or whatnot.
Yeah, when you have responsible tenants, and there's responsible tenants at every price range I found, but it's really nice, like you're saying, if you screen well, get a good tenant, you can just pass things like that on to them. Like, hey, just talk to this handyman, y'all schedule it, let me know when it's fixed. Tell the handyman, send me a picture, send me an invoice. I mean, you don't have to be nitpicking and be in the details of every single thing. Like that's,
I feel like it becomes more annoying for everyone when there's some middleman in there. It's like, here, you guys schedule it, let me know what it's going to be, and we'll work it out.
Yeah. So it involves trust. And so you have a team, you have a handyman, you have people there that really helps out. What you mentioned earlier that y'all got organized at one point. You had these 3 condos and you're kind of just letting it go. Like, were there any particular systems, software, things that you started to upgrade your capabilities as rental property owners?
Not so much. I mean, it's like before we do paper checks in the mail, and now, the Venmos hit, they use the Venmo app there, and that's how we get all the rent, which is awesome because on the first of every month, it's like your phone's dinging with the rents coming in.
It's a good ding on your phone, right? That's a good. It's a great ding. It's a good interruption.
It's a great ding. I love the first of the month. I used to hate the first of the month, but now I love the first of the month.
I know.
But no, I mean, just with our Excel sheets and getting organized and writing down our plans there. There's no software. It's funny. I was talking to someone I consider a mentor yesterday, and he was saying, you got to use Cozy and this other software he was mentioning. And I was just like, we don't need to yet. Like this income we're getting from these properties is so passive right now that, like, it's not a burden really on our lives. Eventually, maybe when we get to 10 properties, it's going to be like, okay, we need some more systems in place. But the way we got organized was Venmo, taking ourselves out of the scheduling, putting together a plan with the pit stops, and just really getting organized with Excel and our communications with each other on, what we wanted and how we were running it.
Yeah, I really like that you can keep your business so simple. Like, and there are awesome technology tools out there. Like, I'm a fan of Cozy. I'm a fan of Buildium as another software when you get a little bit bigger. But at the same time, I use spreadsheets for. We have a couple personal properties that my wife and I own that's outside of our rental business. So we just use Google Sheets every year to send that information to our CPA, and it works just fine. We use checklists on Google Docs, you can run your whole life from a couple Google Docs and your Google Calendar or just pieces of paper. There's nothing that the systems are the same. It's just whether you want to use a tool to help you apply that system or not. There's some benefits to that, but I like how you're just focusing on the main thing, like collect my rent, make that simple, have good relationships with the team.
Yeah.
It's working.
We still got our full-time jobs and we have great flexibility with those jobs, but at the same time, it's like, we don't want it to become this burden where every day we're having to worry and talk about the properties. We just want it to become as passive as possible.
I hope you enjoyed that clip from my interview with Paul Zimmerebner. If you like the full interview, I have a link to my podcast below. And if you like this type of practical interview with real people who are investing in real estate at all different stages of their investing career and their journey to financial independence, I have a playlist that I think you'll enjoy with other interviews and other stories. You can see that either above or in the description of the video below. If you like this video, if you like this channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment for me. I'd love to hear from you, and stay in touch. Every Friday morning, I come out with a new video that I hope you'll enjoy on real estate investing, on financial independence, on doing more of what matters. My name is Chad Carson. You can call me Coach, and I'll see you next time.